Well, listen, thank you. Thanks to the Jim Moran Institute, Mark, the Seminole 100. Man, I love being a Seminole. I love being here. I think when I thought about what the keynote should be about, I was trying to reflect on what other people were saying. So I went out to social media, and a lot of the notes you guys saw kind of rotating around, there was two themes I saw that was pretty consistent. One was, man, I'm really proud to be a Seminole. Almost everybody said that, and it didn't feel, at least when I read it, in the context of which I read it, I felt it. And then the other part of it that really resonates with me a lot is how much either FSU or somebody at FSU helped them. And to me, as I was sitting down with the folks at our table, it is a unique characteristic of this university, because we're not a small university, we're a large university, but it feels very intimate to me. It feels like there's people that are looking out for you. So as I prepped for a very short keynote, shorter than that introduction, I hope. I don't know who wrote that up, but I'm cutting that in half. It's frankly a little embarrassing. I thought about those two themes. So anyway, the other thing I noticed, which is completely unrelated, and I'm a very unstructured speaker, is the diversity in the companies that are here. And I was thinking, we're all in the same university. It's all in Tallahassee, Florida. I don't know what everybody's degree's in, and there's certainly different aged people. But I saw cybersecurity firms and law firms and private equity firms and a coffee place and restaurants and construction services. I just reacquainted with a guy that I met here doing a workshop 8 years ago who's got a company, and he was an entrepreneur here and then took his business and is a super successful entrepreneur in South Florida, which just warmed my heart. And so the diversity really struck me as what a great success for our university to have so much success in so many different things, and I think it speaks to what the university's been doing over the last 30-something years that I've been around. The investments, the teaching, the leadership, the money, it's paying off when you look at the success of the company. That's why we have an event like this, is we're celebrating this great success. A brief, it's terrible to do a keynote and spend minutes on yourself, but I think it's somewhat relevant to my observation. So I was thinking about, why am I proud to be a Seminole? Who helped me here? Because I think it's something for all of us to take with us, tonight. And so when I got here, I can tell you, if you think I'm a work in progress now, I was really a work in progress 35 years ago. And when I got here, I was very, very poor and did not have parents. My mom was a drug user, and my dad left her when I was born. And so I lived in like 15 homes. And so to say I arrived here was a miracle for me, but I was so raw in every way. Social skills, language skills, any skill. I just didn't have it. I had a lot of energy. And the people, so of course I worked. I had two jobs when I was here. One was the Disabled Student Lab, and one was with the Career Center. And two people, for reasons I still don't really know today, Pearlie Rozier at the Career Center and Jeff Douglas, really took me under their wing. Really the whole 4 years I was here. I worked there and a couple of other places. And they were just such loving human beings to say, here's some kid we don't know. He's clearly rough around the edges. And like for Jeff was a quadriplegic and he ran the lab. I'm still good friends with him today, 35 years later. It's 37 years later. Holy cow, 37 years later. Whatever the number is, it's a stupid number. I don't want to say that number. And he was just like, hey, he was so optimistic. And I was a little pessimistic about the world. I saw a lot of bad stuff. And so to me, I was always on edge. And he was like, man, life is great. And he was telling me how great life was. And I was looking at this guy like, how can you think life's great? And he showed me how great life was in a way that I'm an optimist. I was not an optimist at 18. And at 54, I'm absolutely an optimist. And that stuck with me and helped me with promotions and jobs and all kinds of things. And then Pearlie, which was funny, Pearlie was African-American. I'm not African-American. She pretended like I was her son. the whole 4 years I was here. It does crack me up a little bit. She put her arm around me. She said, don't say that. That's unprofessional. I worked for the Career Center, and some of you guys might remember this name. This guy, Robert O'Neill, I think he had a military background. I did not have a military background, and I made lots of mistakes. And she would grab me by the neck and almost spank me. I mean, it was metaphorically. But I mean, I still talk to her today, and I think I seek advice out from her today. And she had this very mothering of me the whole 4 years I was here. And then Myrna Hoover, who worked at the Career Center and now, of course, ran the Career Center for many years, helped me with my career at Arthur Andersen and Tribridge. And I just think about, man, if I didn't come to FSU and I went to any other university, zero chance that I would have had the life that I have today. And so when I looked at what everybody else said about proud to be a Knoll, I couldn't be prouder. And when I think about how many people in this university, I only named 3 or 4. I really could go on, but I have a short window, and I promised Melissa I would stay within the realm. I'm thinking all of these people helped me, and I hope when you take away from tonight, I have a couple takeaway thoughts. One of the things you think about is not only did people help me, what can I do? And then I think about how Knolls collaborate. You know, Scott Price at A-Line, or Brian at ReliaQuest, or Sam Powell at CCG. Like, before I met them, there was an instant bond. And I'd love to say it was my charismatic, great looks and my great orative skills, but at the end of the day, it was, oh, you're a Seminole. You're a Seminole. And that connected us. Now, you have to earn it after that. But there's something special when you meet a Seminole, and if there's a welcoming and a family like Pearlie did for me, then I noticed that with other Seminoles. And to me, that showed up in a lot of the comments on social media about this event. The event's about fast growth. Fast growth happens because a lot of people help you. The other observation I would say is I was a CEO for a long time, and any leadership role you have, I think most of us would say, is a pretty lonely thing. You're constantly, your head's churning, you're constantly worrying about stuff. So I thought of 2 takeaways as I kind of wrap this up. One is to celebrate. I was the worst celebrator in the world. I was always worried about the next thing. I was worried about payroll. It didn't matter how many people we had. If I was at an awards event, I'd walk up and I'd look at the picture later and I'm like, man, I wasn't even really smiling because I was kind of moving on to the next thing. So one of the things I would ask you tonight is to really be present. Really be present and really say, just tonight, I'm not going to worry about the noise of a business, which is noisy. There's lots going on. And just be in the moment and really say, oh, I'm being recognized by the alma mater that I'm proud of and the people that have helped me build something. Tonight's a night to just be grateful and say thank you to your team. And even, I know this would be a weird thing, I'm not sure I could even do this, but even thanking yourself for taking that moment and saying, hey, this is pretty cool. Because to be honest with you, most companies don't make it. Most companies don't make it. If you look at startups, and I work with a lot of startups, it's really hard to get where you guys have gotten. So why not take an opportunity to just celebrate this moment? And I know half of you won't listen. I know, because I was there, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to celebrate later. But I can tell you, I had a couple employees over the years tell me, Tony, you're doing the company an injustice because you're not taking the time to celebrate, so they're not celebrating. You think they're celebrating because they're watching you. And if you're not going to celebrate, they're not going to celebrate. So my takeaway number 1 is please celebrate. And then the second thing, which I would say is even more important because you're not going to listen to me on the celebrate, is, which is okay, is this is a great opportunity to pay it forward. You have this great university, and so when I mean pay it forward, I mean pay it forward to another Seminole. I mean come teach a class, recruit some of these great students that are coming out of our university. Come do something, certainly can donate money. For those of you that are raising money, I'm sure you appreciate that comment. But there's so much to give here and really owe it. I think we all, if you guys are as proud as you said, and everybody's helped you, this is your opportunity now to say, what can I do to pay it forward? And write something down. Before you leave, just say, what can I do different to pay this great gift of Florida State forward? So those are my 2 thoughts. And then my last comment really is just, and I hope I'm inside the 10 minutes, is just congratulations. Like, what a cool honor. I love that FSU is doing this. Randy, everybody involved in this program, thank you. This is really, you guys have progressed this many light years in the 25 years you've been running the program. But I hope you guys enjoyed tonight, and it was really an honor to sit in front of you. Thank you very much.